Hi, this is Evan Forster, author of the MBA Reality Check and an educational consultant here in New York City at Forster-Thomas. And today we have with us
Katie Kennedy,
who is our office lead, and we're both here to talk to you about something that's really, really important, and that is getting started with your candidacy as early as possible, getting on top of your candidacy. So very often, people will come to us in the middle of February after they've done a candidacy assessment with us, and they do what? What happens? They call you up, and what happens?
They say that they're almost ready to go, and that if they work with an educational consultant, it will definitely be us. But there's just one thing.
Wait for it. Go ahead.
They just want to get that GMAT out of the way.
Right. So they want to get the GMAT out of the way, and they're going to chase the score. This is the beginning of score chasing, and this is the biggest mistake because that's only one part of the candidacy, and they're going to wait and wait and wait. So usually what happens is, they start somewhere in June. So today what we're going to do is talk to you about two kinds of candidacies, the winner candidacy and the loser candidacy. So we'll start with the loser candidacy, and hopefully you can avoid this. So how does a loser candidacy begin? Katie, go.
The beginning of June, they take their first GMAT and get mediocre results.
Right, and then what happens in July?
And then in July, they call me to make sure that we still have space,
Right,
and
okay.
They tell me that they just want to wait until they get that GMAT out of the way again.
So they're chasing the GMAT score, and then by mid-September, what's happening?
By mid-September, they're calling us again, and they're in a state of complete and total panic.
Right, like maybe they got the score they wanted, or they're maybe a little bit closer to the score, but now they realize they have to get started on the candidacy because, round one and or round two is around the corner, and now they don't have a choice, they've got to get started. But the problem is, what's the big problem here now?
Well, they focused only on the GMAT. They left their extracurriculars, essays, recommendations, everything on the back burner.
Right.
And
so all of a sudden they're doing things like for the recommendations, while they're scrambling to figure out stories that they're going to talk about, they're also scrambling for recommendations, and or they're joining a fundraising committee suddenly at the last minute, or they're going to be a mentor for a student at some tutoring program at the last minute, or they're maybe involved in some walkathon at the last minute. Does this sound familiar? Is this you? Because if this is you, then you are heading toward a loser candidacy. You want to be really careful about this. So I think there's a phone, but I think what we want to do is actually talk about the potential for a winner candidacy and really show people what that could be like. So what's a winner candidacy?
winter candidacy, generally beginning January, party season is over. Sorry.
Oh, party season is over.
Yep, you got to start studying for that GMAT. Alcohol-free, watching the Super Bowl.
What?
Wait, with the men and the
Is that
running
like the bouncing
and
ball
the
or
bounce.
the-
It bounces kind of.
Okay, whatever. Okay, but it's alcohol-free. That's the important part.
Alcohol-free, that's the important part.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yes,
keep going.
exactly.
So now,
and then in February, you're going to up your commitment to your extracurricular,
right.
whatever it may be.
Now you're trying to up your commitment to your extracurricular, and you're really going to make a difference, and you're really going to do this as early as possible so you can actually do something for somebody else, to be in service to somebody else. Okay, go for it.
Then in March, you're going to zero in on your long-term personal and professional goals.
Right, you'll start thinking about them, you'll start talking about them, you'll start really, really considering what they are, okay?
And start organizing them and writing them down. And start visiting schools. Then in April, you're going to...
And actually, when you visit the schools at this point, now you can actually talk to admissions officers about things that you're really interested in and why that school's right for you, given your long-term goals, because you've thought about it.
Exactly.
Okay, keep going.
Then in April, you're going to make a list of your accomplishments and leadership experiences.
Great. So you're really thinking about this before the questions come out, right?
And those are both professional and personal in those areas.
And then by May, you can take that first GMAT you've been studying for. So take the GMAT in May. Okay.
Exactly.
And then June, start working on your response to essay questions about your long and short-term goals or about leadership. Even though the questions haven't come out, just start thinking about them, writing things down, right? And then you now are at the beginning of July, and what's happening now?
The essay questions are out.
And you can actually write first drafts. And then by mid-July, you can do this other great thing.
You can confirm your recommenders.
Great, you got your recommenders, it's mid-July. And then by the end of July, you can actually even potentially have taken another GMAT and have a kick-ass grade.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're not in panic. And then by mid-August, what's going to happen with that extracurricular?
By mid-August, you're going to launch that first ever or best ever. program, fundraiser, what have you.
Right, exactly. And you can really make a difference, and schools are going to see that. Everybody's going to see that. You're a leader, right? Your candidacy is turning into a leader candidacy. And so by mid-September, what's going to happen?
You're going to have finished your essays and applications, and by the end of September,
all your recommendations are in, your applications now in October have been submitted, and November,
the
party's back on, alcohol's back in, okay? And you're actually laughing at your friends who are still chasing a GMAT, who chased that GMAT score and are scrambling to pull it all, they're scrambling to pull it all together.
It's
so
sad.
It's sad.
We feel
So
bad for them.
that wasn't so hard, right? So it's not even a full year, not to mention look how cute Katie is, right? And the fact that you'll be making her life a lot easier if you start earlier.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.